Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamtiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Canto 5, Chapter 20, The Structure of the Universe. Text number 42. Yontar Vistara Etena Hi Aloka Parimanam Cha Vyakyatam Yad Bahir Loka Loka Chalat Tatap Prastad Yogeshwara Gatim Vishuddham Udaharanti. Word meaning Yaha, that which Anta Vistaraha, the distance inside Loka Loka mountain, Etena, by this, he, indeed, Aloka Parimanam, the width of the tract of land, known as Aloka Varsha, Cha, and Vyakyatam, described, yet, which Bahihi, outside, Loka Loka Achalat, beyond Loka Loka mountain, Tataha, that, Prastad, beyond, Yogeshwara Gatim, the path of Yogeshwara, Krishna, in penetrating the coverings of the universe, Vishuddham, without material contamination, Udaharanti, they say. Translation: My dear Krishna, my dear King, outside Loka Loka mountain is the tract of land known as Aloka Varsha, which extends for the same breadth as the area within the mountain. In other words, that is, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12.5 crores yojana, or 1 billion miles. Beyond Aloka Varsha is the destination of those who aspire for liberation from this material world. It is beyond the jurisdiction of material modes of nature, and it is completely pure. Lord Krishna took Arjuna through this place to bring back the sons of the Brahmana. Om Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Gadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurah Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarobhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Bhagadebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavana Bhuvaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in the last time, we saw that this Loka mountain. So it is a mountain that's a border between Loka and Aloka, and so the Loka means where people can live, a place which is fit for residence, and Aloka is where place which is not fit for residence, and these two are divided by a mountain called Loka mountain. And how much, this is like a circle is there. So the entire Bhumandala, so in that one circle, that is Loka mountain. So inside, how much of area is there? So that much outside is also there. So that is a whole, Bhumandala, this one. So that is the thing that is mentioned, that outside Loka mountain is a tract of land known as Aloka. So outside the mountain is Aloka, inside is Loka, and which extends to the same breadth as the area within the mountain. So whatever is there, breadth is there. So the same amount of this one is there. And beyond the Aloka Varsha is the destination those who aspire for liberation. So after that, there is little bit of distance. The shell of the universal covering is there, and beyond the universal covering is Brahmajyoti. So all the universes are floating in the Brahmajyoti. So beyond the universal covering is Brahmajyoti, and that's the destination for those who aspire for liberation. So like, and it is beyond the jurisdiction of the material modes of nature. So that, like, those area, that is completely beyond the jurisdiction of material modes of nature, and therefore it is completely pure. So Lord, so this is impurity. From here we can understand what is the sign of impurity. If there is three modes of nature, if it is acting somewhere, so that is a sign of impurity. And lack of modes of nature is considered to be purity. So in the purity, in the pure existence, we find Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So all of them are increasingly pure in their existence. So all of them are free from three modes of nature. So three modes of nature is essentially considered to be impurity. So they are completely pure. No substantiation is they are free from modes of material nature. And Lord Krishna took Arjuna through this path, through this place, to bring back the sons of the Brahmana. So you can penetrate, the universal covering is there, it's like under. You can penetrate through the Garbhodaka ocean, or you can go beyond the Satyaloka and go. And another is like you can you can go via the Lokaloka mountain, and in any way, in any direction, if you go, the end is the universal shell. Right? So you can go and meet that universal shell. So here it is mentioned that Yogeshwara Gatim, Yogeshwara is Krishna. So Yogeshwara Gatim, it is the path that is taken by Yogeshwara or Krishna to penetrate the universal covering in order to go and meet Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu audience is not an ordinary thing. So like the Brahmanda is there, and all these Brahmandas have come from the pores of Mahavishnu, and so like the whole Brahma Jyoti is there, in that Mahavishnu is present, and somebody can get out of the material world. That is still a difficult task, and even after that, if somebody's has to get the darshan of Mahavishnu, it is like in Bangalore Kandari traffic mein ghum jata hai. So it is you know, so first of all, the location itself is very difficult. But even if you try to find the location, it is impossible. But even if you try to find the location by your own endeavor, so you cannot demand the spiritual darshan. So like there is one pastime in Ramayana where one demon called Virada, so like he is very gigantic, and Lord Rama, Lakshmana, and Sita, they are going, and suddenly he snatches off Sita, and then like Rama and Lakshmana is in so much of anxiety, and in the forest, So then there is commentary that is there, so which talks about that Sita cannot be accessed, what to speak of touching, even seeing also is not possible, because she is divine energy of the Supreme Lord. And it is only the material manifestation, of the material energy, which the Lord manifests. So that is what the demons and others who are not having sufficient tapasya, so they are able to see that only, and they are able to access that only. So and that Ravana ka, kidnapping ka, like, Maya, Sita, and all those things. So the similar kind of this one that is actually offered here as well, that the people who have not performed tapasya, who have not purified their heart, so they may, even if Lord comes personally in front of him, or Lord's divine energy, they get an opportunity to face these things, they will not be able to recognize only. Just as much a small child cannot recognize what is 500 rupee note and what is 2000 rupee note and things like that. कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा उसको. So like he'll just see that it is another paper, and no paper भी नहीं है, जो कुछ भी exist करता है, no मुंह पे जाना है. That's all. Only one thing in understand, सब कुछ खाना है. So that is how much, like a person can understand. So it is very difficult for an ordinary person to even imagine of all these things. They will not have the jurisdiction to cross, these kind of areas and things like that, because it is a jail. It is like confined. We are confined within a certain this one. How much ever we tried, so much of scientists, so many people have tried, to explore other planets. अभी तक उधर plots बिका नहीं है. They could not able to, they could not make any plot in other planets, and they could not sell, and they could not live. So कुछ नहीं, like इधर ही है. No, चाहे like we can speak so much about like going to other planets, but कुछ कर नहीं पाएंगे actually. So we are confined. So like what to speak of going to Lokaloka mountain, and going to Aloka Varsha. Aloka Varsha is like, it's the, by definition nobody can live there. So, and it is full of gold. It's like enormous, tract of golden land actually it is, and so that is not possible for anybody to actually access. So those who are aspiring for liberation, so very few, like those who are aspiring for liberation after giving up their material body, so they may cross that region, to go to the Brahma Jyoti. And so there are different demigods who are there, who are carrying demigods. So if I remember rightly, Upavahika or something like that, the names, of the demigods, they are in charge of, if somebody is like going through a normal path of liberation, organic path of liberation, so then he will be carried from one location to another, and then handshake happens there, and then उधर soul को दूसरा demigod के पास दिया जाता है, and वो और थोड़ा distance लेके जाते हैं, और उधर से like दूसरा ऐसा, what do you call that, रिले, रिले जैसा चलता है, एंड देन फाइनली उसको बाहर, बाहर का रास्ता दिखाया जाता है. So but for devotees who are taking the shelter of Lord Vishnu, and so even these are also like people who are taken shelter of Lord Vishnu. So but those who have taken shelter of Lord Vishnu, giving up protection of all other mechanisms, and then like perform devotional service with intense faith, in the process, and they make rapid progress. So such people, they are carried by the Vishnu Dutas themselves, so they don't require the support of all these the demigods to move from one place to another. So but here we see that something very very extraordinary that happens. So that is, Lord Krishna, he takes Arjuna in the self same body. So like nobody, nobody can reach these places with the material body in place. Like subtle body or maybe the soul can actually cross. So, but Lord Krishna took Arjuna in the self same body, and beyond the universal covering. So it is and then he entered into the place where Lord Mahavishnu resides, and there they had an audience of the Lord. So, mm, so this super excellent power of Lord Krishna, there is this one of the last chapters of 89th chapter of Krishna book. So in this, two pastimes actually is discussed. So one pastime is the pastime of establishing Vishnu as the supreme. That Bhrigu pastime, he goes and then he offends Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Vishnu, and finally in the test, Vishnu comes out, as victorious, understanding what is it? He's established a supreme personality of Godhead in that way. So or he's just tested, one particular test that was performed. So then, mm, in that way, thus all sages who assembled on the bank of Saraswati to try to determine who is the supreme predominating deity become free from all doubts about Vishnu worship. All of them thereafter engaged in devotional service, and thus they achieved the desired result and went back to God. So those who are actually eager to be liberated from material entanglement would do well to accept at once the conclusions given by Shukadeva Goswami. So that is, Krishna being the supreme personality of Godhead and things like that. So then, it is the next pastime is about this pastime of like Lord Krishna and Arjuna traversing this path. So I'll just read one paragraph before. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed by the Lord that there are no truth superior to Krishna. Shukadeva Goswami also, in order to draw attention to the fact that amongst all Vishnu Tattva forms, Lord Krishna is 100% the Supreme Personality of Godhead, narrated the story of an ancient incident which took place when Lord Krishna was present. So first is the first pastime, Brihumani pastime. It establishes Vishnu as the Supreme Person. And this pastime that we are going to read now. So this is going to establish amongst the Vishnu Tattvas, Krishna as a supreme. So for that, this pastime is mentioned. So once upon a time in Dwaraka, a Brahmana's wife gave birth to a child. Unfortunately, however, just after being born and touching the ground, the child immediately died. The Brahmana father took the child and went directly to the palace of king. The Brahmana was very upset because of untimely death of the child in presence of his young father and mother. What's the problem? आजकल तो बहुत होता है ना, like miscarriage हो जाता है, no, like पेट में बच्चा मर जाता है, and then no, and after the child is born, like pneumonia आता है, like many different things happens, and then if the child survives, it's a big thing, so or the many deaths happen, many deaths happen of children dying in this one. So what is the problem? Is there any problem? What all we can deduce from this kind of a thing when a son or when a child is dying in the presence of the parents?
So since he's a Brahmana, like he's saying that it's a simple activity, he can't able to, or he can't able to avoid that.
What sinful activity?
Like child is dying, since he's a Brahmana, he has to protect himself, so he can't able to.
Okay.
So that is a sin.
Okay.
One is that Peter like when son is supposed to like once father passed out, then he's supposed to go into the period. But when son died before, no one is
No one is there for him to do. Yeah, so it is basically, if you see this is considered to be like an abnormal thing. So abnormal thing means there is a greater adharma or greater fault somewhere it is there. So that is why these abnormal events are happening. So it is considered to be the place is the king is questioned. The king is adharmic. That is why all these things is happening. So or the king is not conducting the government in such a way that dharma is prevailing. So that is why these kind of anomalies are, seen. So this generally, like these kind of things, immediately they'll appeal to the king, saying that, like, what are you doing? So like, king cannot say like, "Arey tum, like, somewhere you are begetting a child, like, no, what can I do sitting here?" No, if you are doing dharma properly and if you are establishing dharma everywhere, so then these kind of things will not happen. No, so this is this one. If poverty is there, the king is questioned. These kind of anomalies happen. The king is questioned. So, um, thus his mind became very disturbed. Formerly, when there were responsible kings up to the time of Dwapar Yuga, when Lord Krishna was present, the king was liable to be blamed for the untimely death of a child in the presence of his parents. Similarly, such responsibility was there during the time of Lord Ramachandra. As we have explained in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the king was so responsible for the comforts of the citizens that he was to see that there was no not even excessive heat or cold. Now the Brahmana whose child had died, thinking there was no fault on his own part, immediately went to the palace door with the dead child in his arms and accused the king as follows. So now you see that the king's responsibility is to take care of the physical comforts of the people also. The physical needs and necessities of the people have to be taken care, and dharmic way. So like a person wants to have a legitimate child, so that requires dharma to be practiced, and the king is responsible to protect the child, to protect the living entities and things like that. So they are responsible to ensure that sufficient, needs and necessities, or sufficient food is there, sufficient shelter is there, and sufficient protection is there. So all these things are, the job description of the king. So material needs and necessities. Now, um, a Brahmana is also there. He is also considered to be leader of the society. So, but what is his roles and responsibilities? The king is supposed to take care of the physical needs and necessities. Brahmana, yeah, he should take care of spiritual needs and necessities. So that is very, this one. So like, if some devotee becomes, enters into politics, and then he become a king or something like that, so then he cannot just say that like, I will take care of the spiritual life of all people. He should also take care of the material needs and necessities of the people actually. So that is necessary. So now, within Krishna consciousness, so somebody becomes a leader. So then, within Krishna consciousness, this basically society of Brahmanical activities. So here, if somebody becomes leader here, so then what he is supposed to take care? Hmm? But we are just Brahmanical society, no? It's like, no, you should just take care of spiritual needs. Why? Logically, you should. Yes, tell me.
Because in this also divisions are there, like Brahmana, Brahmana, Brahmana. So those are Brahmana, Kshatriya qualities.
So whose physical needs you will take care?
Of all
Huh?
Brahmana,
Huh? Sabka? That is the proper Kshatriya's duty. Right. So proper Kshatriya's duty is to take care of all people. Now within Brahmana community, so there may be a person who is leading. So he may take care of the spiritual needs and necessities of like rest of the people. But then within the domain of Brahmana community, so since he is a leader there, so he has to take care of the needs and necessities over there. So like and things like that. So it is to the limited extent of that. Ideally, if the king is there and if king is taking care of all these things, so then it is much more less in the part of the Brahmana leader. So, but then otherwise, he also need to take care of the physical needs and necessities of the other fellow Brahmanas who are there. So this is how the dharma is actually. So one needs to understand what is his roles and responsibilities nicely and discharge. So if the dharma is not discharged properly, so then no one's practice of Krishna consciousness will not fructify. So he may do all his sadhana and things like that, but it will create some kind of obstruction in the fructification of the fruits of one sadhana. The present king Ugrasena, this is like the Brahmanas' accusations. The present king Ugrasena is envious of the Brahmanas. The exact word used in this connection is Brahmadvisha, one who's envious of the Vedas of one who's envious of Vedas of a qualified Brahmana or of the Brahmana caste is called Brahmadvisha. So Brahma also means Vedas. Brahma also means Brahmana. So, or particular Brahmana or the entire caste of the Brahmanas. So Brahmadvisha. So Brahmadveshi, basically. So like he is. Just so he is, like having enmity towards this. So he was also accused of being Shatadhi, falsely intelligent. So the executive head of the state must be intelligent to see to the comforts of the citizens. But according to the Brahmana, the king was not at all intelligent, although he was occupying the royal throne. Therefore, the Brahmana also called him Lubda, which means greedy. In other words, a king or an executive head of the state should not occupy the exalted post of president or king if he is greedy and self interested. But it is natural that an executive head becomes self interested when he is attached to material enjoyment. Therefore, another word used here is Vishayatmana. Vishayatmana means like he's so much attached to Vishaya, material sense gratification. So these are all things, basically a person should be given role of the two reasons why somebody may actually want to become a king or a leader. So one is that leader means the people will give respects, and I will get a lot of resources at my disposal and things like that. So another is actually to do the job. What is the purpose of a leader? The purpose of a leader is to, like, if there is no direction, if everybody are on the same platform, so then there is no direction. So like nobody is taking the lead. So then there is so many different opinions, so many different things that comes, like who will actually regulate. So there is a natural necessity of a leader. In any group, there is natural necessity of a leader who will direct and who will actually regulate things. So now that is like it is taking the burden of rest of the people. So it is not just like my needs and necessities. I have to see like what will be the needs and necessities of all the people, and we have to think for a broader section of this one. So this requires a selflessness, in order to perform this work. So, but if somebody is not selfless, he is just only attracted to the resources, power, and things like that. So then he'll become Vishayatmana. So, like basically the material sense objects. So, if the sense objects are there, so it has a natural phenomena to make us attracted to the sense object. So, until unless we utilize them, in the proper way, so then it is going to be wrongly affecting the person. So, in that way, like one should not be just self-interested. So, one should be like one should not be greedy, and no one should have proper intelligence, and one should not one should not be a brahmadveshi, so like or against the brahmanas. So why this against the brahmanas is very important is because they are the ones who are going to, Vedas is the one which is going to give the whole plan. So like a leader is somebody who is going to lead the group to get go on a particular path. So where is the path going to come from? That is going to come from Vedas, and Vedas we cannot understand directly, so that requires the support of Brahmanas to understand. So but if somebody is against the Vedas and Brahmanas, तो रूट में अब चला गया, तो अभी किधर लेके जाएंगे? So then so it will be so he'll not have the proper intelligence. So it is very nicely put. So the Vedas must be accepted, and on as the Vedas are directing, one should walk in that path. That is the intelligence. Intelligence is not something like कि like कुछ तो हटके सोचना है, कुछ तो हटके करना है. So intelligence is to walk in the path which is given by the Vedas, and the Brahmanas. So that is intelligence. So because he is against the Vedas and Brahmanas, his intelligence is bad, and so then he becomes, if intelligence is bad, then he becomes greedy. So like he will not be able to lead the people in the path of liberation. He will be, he himself will be lost in the sense gratification and greediness to accumulate more of the material things. So then though like he himself has become blind and he cannot lead anybody. So the Brahmana also accused the king of being Shatra Bandhu, which refers to a person born in the family of Kshatriya or royal order, but lacking the qualification of royal personality. The king should protect Brahminical culture and should be very alert to the welfare of his citizens. He should not be greedy due to attachment to material enjoyment. If a person with no qualification represents himself as a Kshatriya of royal order, he is not a Kshatriya but a Kshatrabandhu. Similarly, if a person is born of a Brahmana father but has no Brahminical qualification, is called Brahma Bandhu or Vijabandhu. This means that a Brahmana or a Kshatriya is not accepted simply by birth. One has to qualify himself for the particular position. Only then he is accepted a Brahmana or a Kshatriya. So generally in the past, it is very, very clear that anybody who's born in a Brahmana family would become a Brahmana because the samskaras were followed. So appropriate soul is attracted towards that place, and things like that. So recently, one devotee, he came, he was performing the this one ceremony of Garbhadan Samskara. So, and I was also like kind of doing some research in this particular area, so of Garbhadan Samskara. So it is like, it is very important that when a husband and wife, when they prepare the consciousness properly, and when they like prepare for inviting a child, so it is something like, if we keep a place completely dirty, filthy and things like that, all germs will come and take birth. But if you keep the place very nice, neat and clean, and then if possible some flower plants and things like that are there, so then honeybee will come and butterfly will come and things like that. So it is that like why different entities are attracted to different place. So because what kind of environment you create, accordingly, different kinds of entities will get attracted. So then another devotee asked the question. So this is all must be our prarabdha, whatever is supposed to come. So like, how can you change prarabdha? No, so like, then it's a very interesting question actually. So how will you solve this? How can you change prarabdha? It must have already been decided, no?
It will come through some other source.
Huh?
It will come through some other source.
Okay.
Other way.
But how will you change? कर्म तो है, इसके वजह से लाइक आ रहा है आपको.
Child is not the problem. Whatever Sukha that is it. But Sukha can't come from child.
Harsha Shoka. There is a child named Harsha Shoka. Okay. Prarabdha of whom will not change?
All the parents.
See, parents' prarabdha is that he has to get some like useless son, or he has to get some intelligent son, or suta, like progeny. Is also like is an opulence actually. So one to get like nice progeny. So one need to have that yoga, to get that good children and things like that. So now suddenly by doing Garbhadan Samskar, what are you going to change?
These things cannot change the supremacy of bhakti, like you have some inclinations of practice.
Okay. So, but the divine children will come and things like that, So, like, nice souls can be attracted and things like that. So, what is prarabdha? Prarabdha is very, very difficult to change. Now, what is definition of prarabdha? It is already manifest. The child is not yet manifest now. अब तक प्रारब्ध नहीं बना है actually. So it is in the aprarabdha stage. So child is not yet manifest. So this is one reason I could give to them. So, but I have to do little more research on this subject. Ki like kya hai karke. So, but at least this much is sure that if a nice environment is produced and a nice soul will get attracted. So even Diti's this one pregnancy like Kashyapa, so Kashyapa mentions that this time if we unite, so like Shiva Ganas will come and take birth, in the this one. So that's like it's the choice of time and attracting of particular souls, seems to be like very important. This one, so there is some dynamism is there, so that's good. So there is scope that our devotees can actually beget some nice Krishna conscious children. So it is very, very important that in the future, one devotee was mentioning that Arjuna was so much worried about this one Varna Shankaras, and we are gathering all the Varna Shankaras under one roof, and we are trying to manage. So it is so difficult actually, So, anyways, thus the Brahmana charged that his newly born baby was dead due to the disqualification of the king. The Brahmana took it to be most unnatural, and therefore he held the king responsible. We also find in Vedic history that if a Kshatriya king was irresponsible, sometimes a consulting board of Brahmanas maintained by the monarchy would dethrone him. Considering all these points, it appears that the post of monarch in the Vedic civilization is a very responsible one. The Brahmana therefore said, no one should offer respects or worship to a king whose only business is envy. Such a king spends his time either hunting or killing animals in the forest or killing citizens for criminal acts. He has no self control and possesses bad character. If such a king is worshipped or honored by the citizens will never be happy. They will always remain poor, full of anxieties and aggrievement, and always unhappy. The modern politics in the modern politics, the post of monarch has been abolished, and the president is not held responsible for comforts of the citizens. In this age of Kali, the executive head of a state somehow or other gets vote and is elected to an exalted post, but the condition of the citizens continue to be full of anxiety, distress, unhappiness, and dissatisfaction. So one of the reason monarch is not appreciated in Kali Yuga is like what if he's a bad person, and then he'll get absolute control. So it is a problem, and then like we will be locked up forever. So at least change होता रहेगा तो like कोई बुरा आया तो ठीक है 5 साल जेल लो like कोई और आ जाएंगे. So but this one is now we see that so much rules and regulations and so much application of rules and regulations are being seen into practice. But in the Vedic times, the rules and regulations of duty, and if you don't do the punishment dene wala hai Bhagwan. So like if you don't do your duty, the next life will become very bad. So like I think once we discussed this aspect, that when Lord Rama was like convinced by Bharata and many other sages that he should come back and he should not regard the promise given by him and things like that. So then the Lord Rama says that I am a king. If I don't fulfill the promise given to my father, so then I will walk in the path of adharma, and then seeing me like others also will walk into the path of adharma, and then whole ruination of the whole like what is it? It becomes like so much of destruction will actually happen because of that. So in that way, like we see that the following of dharma was very meticulously practiced, and so because of that, like we see there is less levels of control and less levels of monitoring, and there could exist like brahmanas and kshatriyas like who are beyond the jurisdiction, and still like things will go on very nicely. So but in Kali Yuga, like even the topmost person is also like held responsible, and like they are monitored for everything. So because there is lack of trust that is there. So the Brahmana's second child also died at birth, and then the third one, he had 9 children who all died at birth, And each time he came to the gate of the palace to accuse the king. When the Brahmana came to accuse the king of Dwaraka for the ninth time, Arjuna happened to be present with Krishna. So Dwaraka and Krishna is personally there, and Ugrasen is there, and people like that, And then Krishna is there, Balram is there, and then you have like Aniruddha and uh, Pradyumna, like huh? What is it? Drishtadimna. He was also there. No, no, no. So these all these people were there. No, it's like ek bhagwan nahi, char bhagwan hai actually. So like Surabhi like no, this is happening, and Arjuna is like so he happened to be present. On hearing that a Brahmana was accusing the king of not properly protecting him, Arjuna became inquisitive and approached the Brahmana. He said, "My dear Brahmana, why do you say that there are no proper Kshatriyas to protect the citizens of your country? Is there not even someone who can pretend to be a Kshatriya, who can carry a bow and arrow at least to make the show of protection? Do you think that all royal personalities in the country simply engage in performing sacrifice with the Brahmanas but have no chivalrous power?" Arjuna indicated that Kshatriya should not sit back comfortably on the pretext of performing Vedic rituals, but must rather be very chivalrous in protecting the citizens. Brahmanas, being engaged in spiritual activities, are not expected to do anything which requires physical endeavor. Therefore, they need to be protected by the Kshatriyas so that they will not be disturbed in the execution of their higher occupational duties. So, if the Brahmana feel unwanted separation from their wife and children, Arjuna continued, and the Kshatriya kings do not take care of them, then such Kshatriyas are to be considered no more than stage players. In dramatic performances in the theatre, an actor may play the part of a king, but no one expects any benefit from such make believe king. Similarly, if the king or the executive head of a state cannot give protection to head of the social structure, he is considered merely a bluffer. Such executive heads simply live for their own livelihood while occupying exalted posts as chief of state. My lord, I promise that I shall give protection to your children. And if I am unable to do so, then I shall enter into blazing fire so that the sinful contamination which has infected me will be contracted. Like oh, pura bhashan, like it is one thing is that Kshatriyas can never take this one of insult. No, तुम कर नहीं पाओगे ना एक तुम कैसे ऐसे कैसे बता सकते so like करके दिखाओ ना you know. So upon hearing Arjuna speak in this way, the Brahmana replied, "My dear king, my dear Arjuna, Lord Balram is present, but he could not give protection to my children. Lord Krishna is also present, but he could not give them protection. There are also many other heroes such as Pradyumna and Aniruddha carrying bows and arrows, but they could not protect my children." The Brahmana directly hinted that Arjuna could not do that which was impossible for the Supreme Personality of God. He felt that Arjuna was promising something beyond his power. The Brahmana said, "I consider your promise to be like that of an inexperienced child. I cannot put my faith in your promise." Arjuna then understood that the Brahmana had lost all faith in the Kshatriya kings. Therefore, to encourage him, Arjuna spoke as if criticizing even his friend Lord Krishna. While Lord Krishna and others were listening, he specifically attacked Krishna by saying, "My dear Brahmana, I am neither Sankarshana nor Krishna, nor one of Krishna's sons like Pradyumna or Aniruddha. My name is Arjuna. I carry the bow known as Gandiva. So you cannot insult me, for I have satisfied even Lord Shiva by my prowess when we both hunting in the forest. I had a fight with Lord Shiva, who appeared before me as a hunter, and when I satisfied him by my prowess, he gave me the weapon known as Pashupata. Do not doubt my chivalry. I shall bring back your sons, even if I have to fight with death personified." When the Brahmana was assured by Arjuna in such exalted words, he was somehow or other convinced, and thus he returned home. When the Brahmana's wife was to give birth to another child, the Brahmana began to chant, "My dear Arjuna, please come now and save my child." After hearing them, Arjuna immediately prepared himself by touching sanctified water and uttering holy mantras to protect his bows and arrows from danger. He specifically took the arrow presented to him by Lord Shiva, and while going out, he remembered Lord Shiva and his great favor. In this way, he appeared in front of the maternity home, equipped with his bow known as Gandiva and with his various other weapons. Arjuna, who apparently had not left Dwaraka because he had to fulfill the promise to the Brahmana, was called at night when the Brahmana's wife was to give birth to the child. While going to the maternity home to attend the delivery case of the Brahmana's wife, Arjuna remembered Lord Shiva and not his friend Krishna. He thought that since Krishna could not give protection to the Brahmana, it was better to take shelter of Lord Shiva. This is another instance of how a person takes shelter of the demigods. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita, Kama isthirte hitagnyana prapatyante anya devata. A person who loses his intelligence because of greed or lust forgets the supreme personality of Godhead and takes shelter of the demigods. Of course, Arjuna was not an ordinary living entity, but because of his friendly dealings with Krishna, he thought that Krishna was unable to give protection to the Brahmana and that he would do better to remember Lord Shiva. Later, it was proved that Arjuna's taking shelter of Lord Shiva instead of Krishna was not at all successful. Arjuna, however, did his best by chanting different mantras and he shot arrows up and down to guard the maternity home from all directions. The Brahmana's wife delivered a male child, and as usual, the child began to cry. But suddenly, within few minutes, both child and Arjuna's arrows disappeared into sky. So generally, like इसके पहले कम से कम डेड बॉडी तो मिलता है इस बार वो भी नहीं मिला. So it appears that the Brahmana's house was near Krishna's residence and that Lord Krishna was enjoying everything that was taking place, apparently in defiance of his authority. No, it's like it appeared to be like defense of Krishna's authority, but then Krishna has complete control of everything. It was he who played the trick of taking away the Brahmana's baby, as well as the arrows, including the one given by Lord Shiva, of which Arjuna was so proud. Antavantu falat tesham tad bhavati alpamedasham. So one may get like any powers from demigods, no? It will get vanished at some point in time. Right? So in the presence of Lord Krishna and others, the Brahmana began to accuse Arjuna. Everyone see my foolishness. I put faith in the words of Arjuna, who's impotent. No, it's like very heavy, very heavy for a Kshatriya to take actually, and who's expert only in false promises. How foolish I was to believe Arjuna. He promised to protect my child when even Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Lord Balaram, and Lord Krishna had failed. If such great personalities could not protect my child, then who can do so? I therefore condemn Arjuna for his false promise. And I also condemn his celebrated bow Gandiva. So anybody who blasphemes Gandiva or like ask him to put down Gandiva, no, Arjuna's Pratigya has to kill him. And his impudence in declaring himself greater than Lord Balram, Lord Krishna, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. How can anyone save my child who has already been transferred to another planet? Due to sheer foolishness only, Arjuna thought he could bring back my child from another planet. Thus, condemned by Brahmana, Arjuna empowered himself with a mystic yoga perfection so that he could travel to any planet to find the Brahmana's baby. It seems that Arjuna had mastered mystic yoga power by which yogis can travel to any planet they desire. He first of all went to the planet known as Yamaloka, where the superintendent of death, Yamaraj, lives. There he searched for the Brahmana's baby, but he was unable to find him. No, he then immediately went to the planet where King of Heaven, Indra, lives. When unable to find the baby there, no, he went to the planet of fire demigod, then to the planet of Nirutti demigod, and to the moon planet. Then he went to Vayu Loka, Varuna Loka, and when unable to find the baby on those planets, he went to the Rasatala planets, the lowest of the planetary system. After traveling to all these different planets, he finally went to Brahmaloka, where even mystic yogis cannot go. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Arjuna had that power, and he went above the heavenly planets to Brahmaloka. So when he was unable to find the baby, even after searching all possible planets, he then attempted to throw himself into a fire. Since he had promised the Brahmana, he would do so if unable to bring back his baby. Lord Krishna, however, was very kind towards Arjuna because Arjuna was the most intimate friend of the Lord. Lord Krishna persuaded Arjuna not to enter the fire in disgrace. Krishna indicated that since Arjuna was his friend, If he were to enter the fire in hopelessness, indirectly it would be a blemish on him. Lord Krishna therefore checked Arjuna, assuring him that he would find the baby. He told Arjuna, "Do not be foolish, do not foolishly commit suicide." After addressing Arjuna in this way, Lord Krishna called for his transcendental chariot. He mounted it along with Arjuna and proceeded north. Lord Krishna, the all powerful personality of Godhead, could have brought the child back without effort, but we should always remember that he was playing the part of a human being. As a human being, has to endeavor to achieve certain results. So, Lord Krishna, like an ordinary human being, or like his friend Arjuna, left Dwaraka to bring back the Brahmana's baby. By appearing in human society and exhibiting his pastimes as a human being, Krishna definitely showed that there was not a single personality greater than he. God is great. That is the definition of supreme personality of Godhead. So, at least within this material world, while he was present, Krishna proved that there was no greater personality within the universe. Seated on his chariot with Arjuna, Krishna proceeded north, crossing over many planetary systems. These are described in Srimad Bhagavatam as Saptadvipa. So that's the section that we are going through. And Dvipa means island. These planets are sometimes described in the Vedic literatures as Dvipas. So Dvipa generally means water body is there, and then you have land in midst of water body. So, but it could also mean that there is ocean of ether, and then amidst that there is planets are there and things like that. So dvipas in these ways also it is mentioned. So but technically this saptadvipa which is there, which is actually in midst of the water bodies, so that is also mentioned. The planet on which we are living is called Jambudvipa. Outer space is taken as a great ocean of air, and within the great ocean of air, there are many islands, which are the different planets. On each and every planet, there are oceans also. On some of the planets, the ocean of salt water, and some of them there is ocean of milk. On others, there are ocean of liquor, and on others there is ocean of ghee or oil. There are different kinds of mountains also. Each and every planet has a different type of atmosphere, so that we are studying in the fifth canto. Krishna passed over all these planets and reached the covering of the universe. This covering is described in Srimad Bhagavatam as great darkness. The material world as a whole is described as dark. In the open space, there is sunlight, and therefore it is illuminated. But in the covering, because of the absence of sunlight, it is naturally dark. When Krishna approached the covering of of this universe, the four horses which were drawing his chariot, Saibya, Sugriva, Meghapushpa, and um, Balahaka, so all hesitated to enter the darkness. This hesitation is also part of the pastime of Lord Krishna, because the horses of Krishna are not ordinary. It is not possible for ordinary horses to go all over the universe and then enter into its outer covering layers. As Krishna is transcendental, his chariot and his horses and everything about him are also transcendental, beyond the qualities of material world. We should always remember that Lord Krishna was playing the part of an ordinary human being, and his horses also, by the will of Krishna, played the parts of ordinary horses in hesitating to enter the darkness. So then, we see that the Lord actually sends Sudarshan Chakra, and then the path becomes illuminated, and then they cut across this one of all these different layers, and finally they enter into Brahmajyoti, and then finally they go to the place where this one Mahavishnu is there. So I'll just cut short a little bit and then go to a little ahead. When Lord Krishna and Arjuna entered the water, it appeared that there was a strong hurricane of transcendental effulgence blowing. This is like the Karana ocean, actually. And when and the water of Karana ocean was greatly agitated. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Arjuna had the unique experience of being able to see the very beautiful Karana ocean. Accompanied by Krishna, Arjuna saw a large palace within the water. There was many thousands of pillars and columns made of valuable jewels. So generally, we think that Mahavishnu is just lying down in the Karana ocean, तो उसको like ज़्यादा कुछ facilities नहीं है इनका. So but actually like is a great palace that is there. And the glaring effulgence of those columns was so beautiful that Arjuna was charmed by it. Within that palace, Arjuna and Krishna saw the gigantic form of Anantadev, who is also known as Sesha. Lord Anantadev, or Seshanaga, was in the form of a great serpent with thousands of hoods, each one decorated with valuable effulgent jewels, blazing, beautifully dazzling. Each of Anantadev's hoods had two eyes, which appeared very fearful. His body was as white as the mountain top of Kailasha, which is always covered with snow. His neck were bluish, as were his tongues. Thus, Arjuna saw the Sheshanaga form. He and he also saw that on that very soft white body of Sheshanaga, Lord Mahavishnu was lying very comfortably. He appeared all pervading and very powerful, and Arjuna could understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead in that form is known as Purushottama. He is known as Purushottama, the Supreme Best Personality, because from this form emanates within the material world another form of Vishnu known as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And the Mahavishnu, so Purusha Uttama, so there is Purushottama means what is the meaning? Best amongst Purushas. Okay, so like why Mahavishnu is called as Purushottama? All of Vishnu avatars are called as Purushottama only. No?
All other Vishnus come from.
So there are three Purushas. There is three Purusha incarnations that is there. So in that, the first one is Mahavishnu. So in that way also he is called as Purushottama. So like otherwise, no, all the incarnations of Lord is considered to be Purushottama only. So and Krishna is called as in this connection Purushottama. Purna Purushottama. So okay, like. So the Mahavishnu form of the Lord is also known as Purushottama because he is beyond the material world. Tama means darkness, and Uttama, no, Utgata Tama. So that is like beyond the darkness. No? So that is also one of the ways of defining Uttama. So therefore, Uttama means above the darkest region of the material world. Arjuna saw that the bodily color of Purushottama Mahavishnu was as dark as new cloud in the rainy season. He was dressed in very nice yellow clothing. His face was beautifully smiling, and his eyes, which were like lotus petals, were very attractive. Lord Mahavishnu's helmet was bedecked with valuable jewels, and his beautiful earrings enchanted the beauty of curling hair on his head. So, Lord, generally, like whenever the Lord is described, is described of having curly hairs. So, like Lord Mahavishnu had 8 arms, all very long, reaching to his knees. His neck was decorated with Kaustuva jewel, and his chest was marked with the symbol of Srivatsa, which means the resting place of goddess of fortune. The Lord wore a garland of lotus flowers down to his knees. His long garland is known as Vaijayanti garland. So these are all some things that we need to. It's a very very good meditation. So if you see in Srimad Bhagavatam, whenever there is description of the beauty of the Lord, it is very elaborately mentioned. And whenever there is prayers are there, that is elaborately mentioned. And all other activities are like within few slokas it is just covered. So these things are very very important. So like bodily color of the Lord is mentioned, his Kaustuba jewel, his helmet, his curly hairs. So then Vaijayanti Mala, then like Srivatsa symbol and things like that. So these are all some things that becomes very attractive and very absorbing for people who are making advancement in Krishna consciousness. So these are all symbols that immediately gives the like remembrance of the Supreme Lord. So the Lord was attended by his personal associates, that is Nanda and Sunanda, and the personified Sudarshan Chakra was also standing by him. As stated in the Vedas, the Lord has innumerable energies, and they all stood there in their personified forms. So this is also something that Brahmaji also, when he saw that Krishna's form, like when he expanded into many cowherd boys, so all Vishnu Murtis he displayed. So that time also he sees that all energies all the potencies of Krishna. So they are in the person, in a personified form. So they are always present and they are glorifying the Supreme Lord. So this is what generally the scene. If somebody sees the Supreme Lord, he is always accompanied with all his associates and all his powers in the personal, personified form, and all of them are constantly glorifying the Supreme Lord. Right? So in this world, this glorification of the Supreme Lord is very rare. So generally it doesn't occur. No, and when pure devotees, when they come, so they actually, glorify the Supreme Lord. They record the glorification of Supreme Lord, and the Vedas are nothing but glorification of the Supreme Lord. And these things are not so much prominent and prevalent in the material world. So the how to make this place, or how to give an opportunity for people to go back to Godhead. So this glorification, which is recorded in the pages of the Vedic literatures, so those need to be repeated, because we in our disease condition we cannot glorify, we cannot be the source of the glorification of the Supreme Lord. So we need to take shelter of the recorded glorifications which are there, and that needs to be repeated. So when these glorifications are performed, so then it's an act of spiritual world. It's a spiritual activity that gets performed. So and that becomes the pathway for us to get out of this material existence. So the most important among them, of all the different energies of the Lord is Pushti, the energy of nourishment; Shri, the energy of beauty; Kirti, the energy of reputation; and Ajar, the material energy of material creation. So we see that these are all beauty and fame and things like that. People actually go behind it. So they are all personalities, and completely sold out personalities. So they are all the time they are engaged in the service of the Lord. So in this world, if somebody gets some fame or some beauty or some anything of that nature, so you should understand it's simply because of grace of the Supreme Lord. He would have told these attendants, "ठीक है, इसके पास थोड़ा सा, you give your this one, you share your energy a little bit, to this person, like that." So all these energies are invested in the administrators of the material world, namely Lord Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, and also in Indra, the king of the heavenly planet, Chandra, Varuna, and all the other personalities. And being empowered by Lord with certain energies, engaged in transcendental loving service of the personality of God. So the Mahavishnu feature is an expansion of Lord Krishna's body. So basically, we see that all these different personalities, they are completely at the service of the Supreme Lord. And whenever it is bestowed, we should understand this is just by the grace of the Supreme Lord. So yet vibhuti sattvam. So that is that has been exemplified here. So the primary thing, how does it actually make Krishna as the supreme, or establishing Krishna as the supreme Vishnu? So Mahavishnu will be telling that he no, I just want to have darshan of you, Krishna. So that is why I did this act. So now we see that even Mahavishnu, who is Purna Kama, who is who's all of the Vishnu avatars, so they don't have any desire which is not fulfilled. So they are the desire, if it comes immediately, it is fulfilled. All the necessities, all the necessary paraphernalia for fulfilling their desires are always there, right next to them, and they are glorifying and things like that. And so it is impossible that Mahavishnu has some desire and he cannot get that desire fulfilled. So ऐसा कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. So that means there is something beyond him. So what is that which is beyond him? So that is the Purna Purushottama, Krishna. So he is beyond him. So and Mahavishnu was making this play of killing all these children of the Brahmana. So in order that भगवान को गाली पड़ेगा, तो ना ठीक है, भगवान आके देखेंगे मुझे. So in that way, no, I'll have an audience. I'll have this one means to have an audience of Lord Krishna. So in this way, Arjuna becomes I'll just read a little bit. Lord Krishna and Arjuna then offered their obeisances to Mahavishnu, and taking back the Brahmanas' children, they returned to Dwaraka. So, before that, so Mahavishnu is speaking. My dear Krishna and Arjuna, I was very eager to see you both, and therefore I arranged to take away the babies of the Brahmana and keep them here. So, why both of them together? That is also mentioned later on. I have been expecting to see you both in this palace. You have appeared in this material world as my incarnations. So, in order to minimize the force of demoniac persons who burden the world, now after killing all these unwanted demons, you will please no, you will please come back to me. The two of you are incarnations of the great sage Nara and Narayana. Although you are both complete in yourselves to protect the devotees and to annihilate the demons. Not in our place, no? ठीक है. Anyways. So, to annihilate the demons and especially to establish religious principles in the world so that the peace and tranquility may continue. You are teaching the basic principles of factual religion so that the people of the world may follow you and thereby be peaceful and prosperous. So, like that. So, this is which is an amazing experience that is given by what is that Lord Krishna to Arjuna. So to go beyond this one. So Arjuna had the powers to go everywhere within the Loka region, where people can reside. And Krishna took Arjuna beyond the Loka, to Aloka, and then beyond the material covering, to the spiritual domain. So to the Brahma Jyoti. And within the Brahma Jyoti, they also went to the place of Mahavishnu, and there they could get the audience of Mahavishnu. And so, one important aspect that has been deduced here is that Krishna is beyond even Mahavishnu. So that if Mahavishnu had to see him, so he had to do so much circus to see him actually. So that is these are some of the things that is there. Okay, so I pause here. So any questions, comments, or this one we can take. Very much.
So we see the picture given Srimhagavatam where Vishnu is like lying alone in that Ganga ocean. Lakshmi is not there, and Anshesh was not there. That picture and this description kind of contradicts.
No, this is the situation of Mahavishnu. And it is, if you see the Garbhodaksha Vishnu or Mahavishnu, like wherever they are depicted in the temples, so they're always depicted in the form of this one. So, but when we, the expansion of all the planets and things like that, so it is kind of an indicative kind of a figure. So, in that way, the palace is also not there, and if you put all of them, you cannot show the universes coming out of the force of Mahavishnu. So, some creative freedom is used over there, or maybe there are some other pastimes that are there. But generally, all of these Purushas, so they reside, they take the bed of Ananta Sesha. So, all three Purushas have almost a similar kind of a form. So the Ranganatha form that you see in different temples, so that's actually a Purusha, form of Purusha. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Vidita. So in the material shell there is a darkness. After there is no after this one. So
Brahma Jyoti is there. After that, it's
full light.
Hmm.
And so the universes are floating in air or on the water.
Universes are so there are multiple descriptions that are there. So one is that the whole of after the outer shell of the universe. So what exists is the Karana ocean, and also Brahma Jyoti exists. So both of these things are mentioned. So we didn't read those sections fully in detail. So both of these things are existing, and it is mentioned that these. There is another description is also there. So the 1,000 hoods or the unlimited hoods of Ananta that is there. So each of these universes are placed like a mustard seed on top of the head of Anantasesh. So that is also mentioned. So there are these multiple descriptions are there. So like I have not studied that in a comprehensive way. So Brahmajyoti is there, and Karana Ocean is there, and Anantas, this ones are also there. So like all these, a combination of them is there. Naam kidhar hai, like so here it is somewhat some description is there. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, there is an elaborate description when it comes to Nityananda Prabhu. So there is an elaborate description of the situation is there. I've read that, but now I don't remember so much in reading.
And one more, uh, they went to north direction. So generally people can go to north to.
Yeah, so why it is mentioned as north direction is if you see the Jambudvipa that is there, and from the Jambudvipa, like this is Bharatavarsha, and from Bharatavarsha, so generally to go out of the realm of this one, so they take the help of Himalayas, so which continue to the greater Himalayas into the Meru Parvata and things like that. So which is connected over there. So that's a pathway that they take to go from here to out. So then from there, there is connection to Manasutra mountain, there is connection to further this one, like, in the fifth canto, we will study that, like when, anyway, now it is going to come in Bhakti Yoga. So we will study this, pathways and things like that.
So they went through this local mountain, then after this Alok area, then ended.
That's what is mentioned in this particular shloka. So Yogeshwara Gata, Gatim, Yogeshwara Gatim. So like, he went through this path. That's it.
Thanks for the nice class. Very Probably in this description, it's mentioned that Vishnu, Mahavishnu have 8 hands. But we see that Chandis and Shankara even in the Bhagavatam, first Bhagavatam book also this so another 4 hand what Mahavishnu may hold.
What he may hold, I don't know. Bow and arrow or something like that. I also not know about it. Generally, we see Chaturbuja Rupa only. So, but Lord, here it is mentioned as 8 hands form.
Nanda Sunanda also came.
Huh?
Nanda and all that Sunanda also Khadga is there. Vishnu also holds the Khadga.
Okay.
Some Bhagavatam, some photos are there. Some places is holding something other.
But specifically here, what he holds, Mahavishnu. So we don't know. क्या ज्यादा होगा? वहाँ जाना होगा. Mahavishnu will be very attractive. Then you will forget Krishna. So for for us, like one devotee was telling Prabhuji, like if I just can get away from this lusty desires, सब कुछ हो जाएगा, like सारा problem खत्म हो जाएगा. अरे like this is the lowest attraction and you are not able to give up that. इसके बाद काफी सारा attractions हैं. So after this, like you'll have to fight much more to resist the temptation of higher attractions. Yes.
When we say Dvipa, we consider it as a flat. Yeah. So, Earth also is like we are considering as Dvipa. How it would.
No, Dvipa means it is necessarily not flat. It is like in a water body, if there is a body of land that is there, so that can be a Dvipa. And land may be in a mountainous form also. So that is also considered to be Dvipa. Dvipa means like it's just like we call in a mass of a particular substance, if there is a different substance that is there, so that becomes a dvipa or an island within that particular this one. So here it is mentioned that it can be water, and land. It can be air and land also. So ocean of air, and there is in midst of that, if there is land is there, so that is also considered to be dvipa.
But in the descriptions, we don't come across the ocean of ether or ocean of air.
It's there, no, like Prabhupada is writing. So maybe it is there in the commentary. So that's how Prabhupada is writing that. So commentary is also as good as this one. Yes.
Thank you for the next. So who is this? We see whenever devotees they go back home. So by Kuntaroka. So Vishnu Dutas will come and they have many pastimes. So when devotee goes to go to Vrindavan, so who will come to take? So there's no specific decision to the knowledge which I
I don't know. Like we have, yeah. So our devotees, the Vaishnava acharyas, going back and things like that. We don't have any this one of it. So only one reference of this one is Tukaram Maharaj. So like for him, that reference that this one is there. So he talks about no, but he also talks about Sankachakra Kadapadma. So he doesn't talk about two-handed form. So I don't know, like maybe like
they used to pass like they take to Vaikuntha.
I don't know. Yes, there was just some special arrangement must be there. ठीक है. Fine. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय.